Good afternoon, welcome to my channel. My name is David Okun. We have been talking about the cost of living, and we are talking of the cost of living in terms of militarism. We did previously talk of the cost of living in terms of capitalism. These topics are actually connected, and I'll be talking about them over and over and linking them up. And capitalism is the cause of the cost of living, and also the cause of militarism. So I've been looking at the military outfit in the first video I recorded today. I will talk general about militarism, but I've also been mentioning the war in Ukraine and also a group of private military which are now operating in Russia. And I've been talking about other things, how to solve the problem of the cost of living, how to solve the problem of militarism, of capitalism, how to solve the problem of oppression, of force and violence, which is actually characterized by militarism and capitalism. And I pointed to cultural failure at human level as being the cause of all these problems. So let us now, under this video, in this video, let us look at the military, the private military operating in Russia, which are actually fighting in Ukraine. They are actually special forces. They are made up of former special forces in the former. They were formerly, most of them are formerly. I mean, they are collected from around the world. Most of them are Russians, and some of them are even actually Ukrainians also. And so they are picked from wherever they are picked, and then they are actually recruited into the Wagner Group, which is a private military outfit in Russia, and I've been talking about them in a series of videos. And please watch the videos. And there is we're looking at some of the issues now involving the military outfit. We were looking at the struggle with leadership, with power. We talk about power. People want power so that they can control other people. They have influence over other people. They tell other people what to do, so they dominate. They actually increase in power. So there is power struggle among the Wagner group. And there are incidences since 2017 and power struggle which erupted in the separatist Luhansk People Republic in eastern Ukraine between LPR President Igor Plonitsky and the LPR Interior Minister Igor Konet. Igor Konet. I think ego probably means is a political title, perhaps, because it's the same for both the minister and the president of the Eastern Ukrainian enclave. And leave a comment below if you know anything about this kind of conflict. So Igno Konet, who Plonitsky ordered uh, to be dismissed. Plonitsky is actually, I can't remember who he is now, but I think he is the leader of the Wagner group. During the turmoil, armed men in unmarked uniforms took up positions in the center of Luna, of Luhansk. I'm actually learning how to pronounce Russian words. They are very cool words. Um, some of the men belong to Wagner, according to the Jane's company. Um, in um, in the end, Plonitsky resigned, and LPR Security Minister Leonid Pozhechnik was named acting leader until the next election. So these are actually some of the power struggle in the Wagner Group. Is a Russian military system, is a private military of the Russian country. And in the end, Plonitsky resigned, and LPR security minister Leonid Pazeknik was named acting leader until the next election. With some of the events actually indicating power struggle among the Wagner group, and as you can see, and they actually are fighting because they want to rule one over the other, and that's the nature of violence, and they're supposed to be fighting a common enemy. Now they are fighting each other. In an interview with the Russian news site The Insider in early December 2017, veteran Russian officer Igor Strelkov confirmed that Wagner PMCs had returned to Luhansk from Syria. Strelkov had a key role in the annexation of Crimea by Russia, as well as in the early stages of the war in the east of Ukraine, where he was one of the most senior commanders. And he was pulled out of eastern Ukraine in August 2014, reportedly because the Russian authorities felt he was too much of a liability, after which he started opposing the Kremlin. Kremlin is the central power of the government. It's like a parliament or power system. It's like the state house. In mid-May 2018, the security services of Ukraine, SUB, reported that about 100 Wagner PMCs could possibly arrive in Donetsk in the coming days to support the pro-Russian separatist Donetsk People's Republic, PDR. As of October, a few dozen PMCs remain in the Luhansk region, according to the SBU, to kill any people as considered undesirable by Russia. So you can see what is essentially happening is more and more violence. Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, initial deployment. You can also see information on the assassination attempt on Volodymyr Zelensky, who is actually Volodymyr Zelensky, who is actually president of Ukraine. And they tried to actually assassinate Volodymyr Zelensky, president of the Ukrainian. These are actually the same Wagner group. They are actually assassins. I said they are actually the compositions of the military. Actually, they are made up of the special forces. And some of the worst assassins in the world are actually special forces, because they are actually elite in their training. They know how to shoot guns, to shoot targets better than anybody else. So if you get to be assassinated, you're going to be assassinated by a member of the Wagner Group or any of the mercenaries, which are actually composed mainly by the very, very, very best in the military estate around the world. It's not just in Russia, except what is happening in Russia is not supposed to happen in Russia, because the state policy in Russia is to prevent private military to operate in Russia, and unlike in America and in Europe, or perhaps also around the world, where, or maybe Israel, where there are actually mercenaries all over the place. So a fighter of the Wagner Group captured in March 2022 in Ukraine, an incident. So this is the beginning of troubles, where um, there was an event involving the attempt on the life of Vladimir Zelensky, president of Ukraine. The Times reported that the Wagner Group flew in more than 400 contractors from the Central African Republic in mid to late January 2022 on a mission to assassinate Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and members of his government, and thus to prepare the ground for Russia to take control of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which started on the 24th of February 2022. So as you can see, this incident occurring involving the Wagner Group, I said they are actually elite forces. They are one of their primary tactics is actually assassination, and when you talk about contractors, these are actually members of staff, military staff in the private system of the military infrastructure in China, in Russia. So the Ukrainian government received information on this early on the 26th February, after which he declared a 36-hour hard curfew to sweep the capital of Russian saboteurs. So this is the incident involving the assassination attempt on the life of Vladimir Zelensky, president of Ukraine, which occurred in 2022, just last year. The government said that the previous day, its forces had killed 60 saboteurs in Kiev, who were posing as a territorial defense unit. They were actually posing like the Ukrainian army. Soon after the government received the information, heavy fighting erupted in western and northern Kiev, with Ukraine claiming to have repelled an attack on a military base. By the morning, on a second, what did I do? By the morning, me just lost stuck on the military. So by the morning, Ukrainian forces had secured the capital. So the Ukrainian military reportedly fought back and repelled the Russian military. And the reason we are talking about this was actually probably led primarily by the Wagner Group. The United States described Russian forces that entered Kiev as as reconnaissance elements. They were actually spying. They were actually trying to do spying. So 2 days later, a U.S. official stated that there were some indications that the Wagner was being employed, but it was not clear where or how much. By March, according to the Times, Zelensky had survived three assassination attempts, two of which were allegedly orchestrated by the Wagner Group. On the 8th of March, the Ukrainian military claimed they had killed the first Wagner PMC members since the start of the Russian invasion, the first of whom was named on the 13th of March. During the invasion, the Ukrainian military said the Wagner Group had rebranded itself as Liga and referred to them as such in their reporting. Union reported that Ukrainian soldiers nicknamed the Wagner PMCs the musicians. In late March, it was expected that the number of Wagner PMCs in Ukraine would be tripled from around 300 at the beginning of the invasion to at least 1,000, and that they were to be focused on Donbas region of eastern Ukraine. It was reported that Wagner Group PMC played a leading role in the Bucha Makasa massacre of civilians, according to the Germany's Federal Intelligence Service BND, and that intercepted incriminating radio communications. It suggested the killings were part of a Russian plan to instill fear in the population, thus reducing the will to resist. The Battle of Donbas. Leave a comment below if you know anything about the Battle of Donbas. On the 8th of April, I presume the same year, the Ukrainian military said that the Wagner Group was engaged in an artillery strike at Popasna, and multiple members were killed. In mid-April, the Milanov Vitaly Milanov Vitaly Milanov, Deputy Duma member, posted a picture on contact of himself with Yevgeny Prigozhin in the Donbas region or on the Ukraine-Russia border. It was thought by the Institute of the Study of War that Prigozhin was present to organize recruitment and funding to the Wagner Group. So these are some of the information involving fair details of their activity, and pointing to incidents such as when a pilot belonging to the Wagner Group was shot down and captured in 2022 in Ukraine. A picture is being shown of that soldier. In late April, during the Russian military offensive to take the remainder of the Donbas region, dubbed the Battle of Donbas, Ukraine dubbed the Battle of Donbas. Ukraine claimed between 20 to 25 Libyan and Syrian mercenaries were killed during fighting in the town of Popasna. So there were some foreign nationals identified among the Russian Wagner group, and the Libyans and Syrians were operating under the umbrella of the Wagner Group as part of a force numbering between 300 and 500 fighters, according to Ukraine. At the start of May, a video was released of Wagner Group PMCs taking part in street fighting in Propazna. On the 7th May, Russian forces launched an operation to break through Ukrainian lines in the city, with Wagner PMCs involved in the assault. Russian troops captured Popozna the same day. More than 2 weeks later, Wagner PMCs were also involved in the capture of Sitlodask. During fighting near Popazna on the 20th of May, retired Major General Kanamat Botashev of the Russian Air Force was shot down while flying a Sukhoi Su-25 attack aircraft, reportedly for the Wagner Group. So they owned the Sukhoi. 8 days earlier, another Su-25 was shot down over Popasna, piloted by a retired Belarusian colonel who was also said to have been employed by a private military company. A third Su-25 was also shot down near Sitlodask mid-June, with the Wagner pilot captured. In early June, a Ukrainian sniper was reported to have shot and killed Wagner member Vladimir Andonov, call sign Vaka, and dubbed the executioner, near Kharkiv. Sorry about that. I was just a problem with my system. Andonov took part in the initial conflict in the Donbas region in 2014, as well as supposedly Wagner deployments to Syria and Libya. He was accused of killing 3 Ukrainian soldiers who were taken as prisoners following the pro-Russian takeover of the town of Lovinov, as well as for taking part in a civilian massacre in Espia, Libya. Meanwhile, around the same time, Ukraine, I'm just looking at these materials, just lost it, just click the wrong button. I'm just trying to go through this material to illustrate some of the points already made. So, in early June, a Ukrainian sniper was reported to have shot and killed Wagner member Vladimir Adinov, call sign Vaka, and dubbed the executioner, near Kharkiv. Andonov took part in the initial conflict in the Donbas region in 2014, as well as supposedly Wagner's deployments to Syria and Libya. He was accused of killing 3 Ukrainian soldiers who were taken as prisoners following the pro-Russian takeover of the town of Lovinov, as well as for taking part in a civilian massacre in Espia, Libya. Meanwhile, around the same time, Ukraine claimed its forces destroyed a Wagner Group military base in the town of Stakhanov, killing 22 RMCs. Between late May and late June, the Wagner Group took part in the Battle of Severodonetsk, being part of Russia's main assault force. Leave a comment below if you know what Severodonetsk means, and if you can spell it as well as pronounce it. Leave a comment below, let me know. In late June, Wagner was also took part in the Battle of Lysychansk. During the invasion, Wagner PMC also trained Russian servicemen before they were sent to the front line. I'm going to stop this video here. I've been going through some of the activity involving power relationship between the fighting forces in Ukraine and between Ukraine and Russia, and the power struggle. Like I said at the outset of this video, I said power was a necessity to control and also to rule. Rule was actually necessary to control people, to control resources, to control territory, also to have dominance over other people. So this is actually capitalism and nothing else. The war, whether in Ukraine, whether the cost of living is a form of warfare. This is actually the tension is actually play out. It plays out between the rulers and the ruling and the citizens, those who actually rule over. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe for this channel, and support it. Leave a comment below. See you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.